Hello, everyone. Welcome to this broadcast with CCI. We have been here in the event of Lake Kane, the Golden Mile of 2022, and it's the perfect timing for CCI to be here as a sponsor of the Citizen Scientist initiative. And we have with us here Joyce Johnson. Welcome, Joyce. And Joyce is with Jay Madigan from the Lake Kane Restoration Society. And we'd like you to just to tell us what the Lake Kane Golden Mile is and what the Citizen Scientist Initiative is. So the audience is all yours. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Juan Carlos. We're excited to be here, and Jay Madigan is our host for Lake Kane Restoration Society. We're teamed up. We are working on making the lake healthy and testing, and we have a lot of swimmers out here today. How many, Jay?
310 swimmers.
Right, so they all swam the lake. Jay swam yesterday. And so, Jay, do you want to talk about how we made a citizen scientist?
Okay, citizen scientist starts with friendship, really. Joyce and I have known each other since 2008. Here it is, 2022. Joyce, it's been a long time. We've had some good times. So the thing is, citizens are friends, and we have common interests, common ways of seeing things, and one step led to another where we saw that this lake and many lakes in Florida needed attention, simply attention from people who lived in and on and around the lakes. And so what we're trying to do is help bring good, focused data to the attention everyday people need to give the lake.
And volunteers that want to help with the effort. So, Juan Carlos, I think we have some other citizen scientists that have joined us. Do you think any of them have a question or want to talk to?
Of course, we do. We do have actually Shannon Monahan and Barbara Oti, and I would like to welcome Barbara to the transmission. And Shannon, if you just turn your camera on, we can all look at you also and hear you well. Welcome to Shannon, who just swam the lake and that Golden Mile, right? So tell us, please, Barbara, what do you think about this initiative? How you became also a citizen scientist?
This is my first time attending this particular event. And to be honest with you, it was overwhelming, a surprise, and wonderful. And to see this project and knowing what we plan on doing with this lake and to make sure that it continues to be healthy. So I'm very excited about being a part of this. So it's been a wonderful event so far.
Great. And well, Shannon, tell us, what do you think about it? How does it feel to just swim that long mile in open waters? And I think we need you to open your mic. Okay, you are all set.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, great.
Hi, Shannon.
Hello. It was very interesting. I did it. This is my first year doing it. I'm not an everyday swimmer, but I'm definitely a layperson swimmer, I guess I would say. It was a big challenge for me today, but it was really exciting to see everyone out there enjoying Florida's natural water resources how they're supposed to be enjoyed.
That's great. I remember Jay telling me something that actually it was very inspiring, and we were talking about those same things. Jay, you told us, and because of this tagline that you have in Lake Kane, swimmable, fishable, lovable, right?
Yes.
That
Yes.
tagline that is not only about prohibiting people to go into water. It's all the contrary. It's to live in harmony, right? To ensure that we can swim and that fishes can be there and that all the environment also takes notice of us and we can live in that harmony. Please indulge us with all that awesome wisdom.
Now, exactly. And Juan Carlos, that's the key, is somehow human happiness is related to this experience of nature. Now, I know that when I began swimming, my mother taught me how to swim. And so there's something in there from the early part of my life that I associate with swimming and happiness. Now, Shannon, who did you swim with today?
I swam with my mother today, who actually just ran out to go grab some water because this was a mental challenge for both of us today. But this was very much like Jay, you know, Floridians, and well, I guess you're not technically a native Floridian, Jay, but we'll adopt you. That's part of how we grow up, is out there swimming, being in the water, being in the sun. And so to share this experience, this mental challenge today with my mother, the same person who, you know, inspired me to be the water resource I guess champion I'm trying to be today. It was
Well,
full circle.
exactly. And the thing is that if we have some sort of happiness associated with nature, and in our case, this open water swimming experience, well, why wouldn't we protect it? It's a joy to keep it swimmable and fishable and lovable. And maybe Joyce or Barbara, you could share about your experiences, but somehow for me, I am like, it's like I don't know, like if I saw a stray dog that needed help, I would help it. And it's the same way with this lake. Like when I saw it starting to get, you know, clogged up and overgrown and go downhill, I'm like, we gotta help this lake. Anyway, it's that kind of like you know, that was the response that got us really busy.
Well, and you know, Jay, I have a question. It started way before we got involved to help collect data. How many volunteers do you have that come out to this lake and other lakes and collect data for Lake in the Box so that you can see periodically, you know, what's in the water?
Well, Shannon oversees some of the testing that we do. I think between Kathleen's general group and your group, Shannon, we probably have 12 to 14 to 16 committed volunteers collecting data. Is that right, Shannon, or what do you think?
No, that's about right. But each of them do the work of 100 people.
Well, actually, I think it's great that you just put on this matter a little attention, because I wanted also for you guys to tell me about the science part that came here, the technology part, because I saw that drone coming around. I saw those pictures on those posters about these lectures, well, not lectures, but readings of the lake health, right? And how does it help you actually to take care of the lake? Please tell us about that science and technology part that has come out here and make CCI join Lake Cane efforts.
Well, I guess I could talk to some of the sensors that we've developed for collecting the data as we go through the water. It's basically a drone on the water, and what we're collecting is water temperature and dissolved oxygen and turbidity and hard bottom and soft bottom, and putting that together so that it is understandable and you can look at it as a whole world, above and below water. It's a really good new way to consider what's in a lake and how to determine what you can do to help the lake to make it more swimmable. And you can see the bottom of Lucky's Lake.
Okay, so in the late 70s and early 80s, you could see the bottom of the lake. It was during the 80s that it began to accumulate stormwater from nearby roads and properties, and that added to the muck of the bottom of the lake, and we cannot see the bottom of the lake all the way across. But in the late 70s, you know, the whole life of the lake up until the early 80s, you could see the bottom of the lake. That's our restoration goal, is to restore it for that.
Well, great. And Barbara, what's your experience in all these efforts from CCI point of view, and what did they come up with to help on all
You
that?
know, it, again, that's my first time kind of being involved in this, and I'm very excited to be involved in it and to see that, we're working on all this data to try to look at not just Lake King, but other lakes as well. I'm very excited about being a part of this project because there's so much to learn, so much information out there, and I think we can gather a lot of data that can help not only Lake King, but other lakes within Florida.
I think that's a great point. And actually, Shannon, I was just listening when you guys were talking about the reports that you were spread, and you were talking about being Floridians. And well, Florida has like how many lakes around to just take care of, like the same of Lake Kane of even bigger.
There's
Thousands.
Thousands.
Florida is just one big peninsula with chain of lakes after chain of lakes after chain of lakes, eventually dumping into the ocean,
Yes.
which is one of its better qualities, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, with so many lakes, it's kind of why we're in Florida for this effort. There's an additional piece that Shannon and I take to the heart, and that is the STEM development for high school students. Science, technology, engineering, math. You can include art there, but citizen scientists start in high school, and they volunteer, and they go into the sciences and the fields that they didn't know existed. And we're in the fourth industrial revolution. Everything that we're doing is a technology burst, something new. And it's amazing, the younger generation, how they come up with the ideas. Who knew power apps were so powerful? Yeah, I didn't even know a power app, but they use those, and the students, they're teaching us, and they're very passionate about the environment, not just lakes, everything.
Okay.
And that's part of it.
That is. And so, Joyce, you brought up STEM in the science, engineering, math, and technology, sometimes STEAM, adding the A. So I want to put that out there and just hold on to a second. But Juan Carlos, when you're talking about the thousands of lakes in Florida, what we are trying to do in this lake is help people focus on the lakes that don't get any attention. Now, there are public access lakes, and there are lakes that are, if you will, large and in charge, but there are tiny need attention. And that's really where citizen scientists can jump in. So I'm offering that to your listeners and your viewers to say that look for those overlooked environmental areas that matter to you. That's the public sector. I admire, can do great things, but those areas that are overlooked by the public sector are where we think citizen scientists can be particularly effective. Now, and then to Joyce's point, they gotta start learning stuff in high school that has to do with data collection. I think that's a really important.
Yeah, we've gotten a few grants and some opportunities to work with schools, and I'm excited to do that, and to do that nationally. I think it's a push we need to make, and we need to do it because we can. So teach what you know and learn what you don't. And I've lived by that theory, and I think so does Jay. Some of the projects that we've touched, well, they're all water related, but they're all toward making an improvement somehow. So I'm excited to be part of the whole group. I have not swam Lucky's Lake yet. It's on my bucket list. So
I know it's also in my bucket list too. I intend to do that golden mile on next year, preparing myself for that.
yeah. So
Um, but I think they mentioned also something that I think it's important for everyone to know. You mentioned the public sector that sometimes overlooks some of the things, and it's obvious because they can be around everything, right? But Joyce comes from the private sector. CCI engineering just helped here, and also can do a very good and profitable project about all the things that they have learned. But they started helping, and so I want you to share with us how this public sector, private sector, society within the neighbors, the proprietors, the society, the Lake King Restoration Society, how it all came to be in a most harmonious way to just go ahead and and go for this exciting goal of restoring lakes in nature and people living in harmony with it.
Well, I don't know. Do you want to take that one or?
Well, here's the thing. We've got to get people more involved in this broadcast. How can people join this show live? Can you?
Do we have anyone else live, and do we have any other questions?
Because I've got people who want to join this stream, including Kim.
Well, yes, I just
maybe Michael will
sent
take
you
over
a
your
link. Yeah, I sent you a link for the YouTube channel in text, in your iMessage, so you can go there. We are already in the YouTube channel, CCI's YouTube channel, and also CCI's Facebook channel. So you can go on and tell people to go there and join us and get with it. I don't know if Shannon is still around with us because she has been also in the public sector, I think, and she can give us a hint on how the public sector works around uh, with the private companies to this kind of projects.
Absolutely. I'm in a spot that's a little loud right now, so let me know if it's too much.
No, well, it's great. Actually,
Okay.
good signal and really good, yeah, really good audio.
Okay, good. So one of the more interesting things that I've noticed, because I work in the public sector at the moment, one of the more interesting things that I've noticed is the type of collaboration that happens between the public sector and the private sector. And that's where things really happen, because the private sector has their pros and cons. Public sector has pretty much the exact opposite pros and cons. So really the magic happens when both of those things can come together for the same goal, take advantage of their strengths, and get stuff done. And I believe that's kind of what we're trying to do here. And if we're not trying, we're already succeeding with it.
Yeah, you're totally right. And can you show us where you're?
Yes,
I
it's
think you're
working.
near the lake. Can you show us
Pardon?
there? I think you're near the lake. Can you show us there so people can see?
I am towards the lake. It's still pretty loud down there, but I can head down if you'd like me to show what it looks like.
Okay, well let's add Jay, who has been in another part of the
Sure.
Oh,
property.
Jay joined us from
There's
the lake.
Jay. Yeah, Jay just joined us from.
There he is.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Nice.
And we can still hear the party going on because they are already giving the awards, right? For the people that had the record
Yeah.
for the streaming.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the
You bet.
awards are just about over now.
All right.
Yeah, it's 300 plus swimmers. We're here with family, friends, and really a great show. We have a Duncan Yo-Yo champion here. We're doing a live broadcast.
Oh, hi.
Hey,
Want to
Oh.
see some yo-yo tricks?
we can show you some yo-yo tricks here.
Okay,
There we
great.
go.
This is a great event. We have people that have all kind of abilities. It's great.
What do you think?
Well,
Whoa! Whoa! I've never seen that. That is awesome.
Wow.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. This is a live webcast.
Hey.
We have a unicorn. All right. Thank you. So people's personalities come out here. They have a very special way of bringing energy and life to and life connections to this natural phenomenon of Lake Kane and other Florida lakes.
oh, well, I think
Absolutely.
yeah, I think Jay just was muted. Let's activate the mic. Okay. I think it's because of the noise. Well, it's great to see everyone around there.
Yeah.
And well, I have a guest with me here, and I'm gonna want him to join me. Stephen, can you join me here, please? Stephen Coles is the technician, and I want him to join me here with me.
Yes.
So he can also take a look because he just is collecting all that data and piloting those drones because we have the aerial drone, the water drone. So please, Stephen, tell us what your work has been around here and what have you found that is very interesting
Well,
in your point of view.
We've been doing a lot of interesting work that other people haven't done before, and that's I guess normally you'll have marine biologists paddling out onto the lake and maybe taking Secchi depths, which measures the top turbidity of the lake, but we have developed a sensor that with the when towed around by the boat will dip the full depth of the lake, taking the better part of a dozen different measurements at every foot of depth. And because of that, we can slice the lake and look at it very, very dynamically. And because of that, we've noticed that the lakes aren't quite as homogeneous as we were initially led to believe. You know, with even the pH changing in the same area as you go down into some of these sinks, and it's a very, very dynamic, non-homogeneous thing that we've been able to derive a lot of insights. And in the case of Lake Kane, we've been able to see and show that, for instance, areas where flows from water and a couple areas on the Kane. Why lower? So it's a variation by snapshot, and as we do that frequency, we can show how different things that are being done to the lake, the nano bubbles or the latest, for instance, what effects that's happening and how widespread it is, and are those effects? Well, those effects aren't homogeneous. So in which ways are they going to have? Where are they going to be localized? So Juan Carlos, there's a lot that we've been able to insights to glean, but we're doing some really neat stuff that we haven't seen done before.
Well, that's great. And I also saw in one of the posters that you brought here that you also have taken care of measuring Lake Hiawassee, which is also part of a project of the Lake King Restoration Society. I mean, they have also been involved in that.
Yes. There are. We surveyed 4 lakes so far: Lake Kane, Lake Hiawassee, Lake Minnie, and Horseshoe Lake. And we've been collecting updated bathymetric topography. In some cases, that hasn't been updated in some 20 years. And we're collecting this for all the lakes, and we're finding that they're very, very different. And we're trying to get at what characterizes each of the unique sets of distresses at those lakes.
And what kind of action can everyone can take to I don't know, if they find out some stress indicator of something of that? Have you seen some of the actions that have been taken and have been taken care of, like some of the things that Jay was talking about, like restoring also the transparency of the water? That means the health of the water, of course. But have you seen something that you say, okay, when this indicator goes up, you have to do this? Have you seen something like that?
Well, we're still in the early part of developing the model of each lake, and it's going to take some snapshots in time before we can truly get predictive with it. But one of the things that we found, because a lot of the distresses are related to excess nutrients, and just for instance, at Horseshoe Lake, there are very, very clear signs that some folks are throwing a lot more fertilizer at their lawns than others. So as we develop findings, we can approach these the homeowner groups that we're teaming with, and we can say, oh, well, these folks perhaps are fertilizing their lawns much more so, and there was a correlation there between surface growth at that lake and that location. Potentially one of the things we've been kind of looking for have been failed septic fields, which could then introduce a lot of nutrients. So even before the homeowners would necessarily be familiar with that their field had failed, we can potentially catch that ahead of time and create kind of community to-dos and action items that could help stem the tide of nutrification of those lakes. But as far as the predictive end, we're still in the process of collecting data and internally developing those models.
Okay, great. Maybe Jay Madigan could tell us about what have they done as Lake Cane Restoration Society to recover the health regarding some of the things that they have seen, not only by themselves and with the help of the studies and the measurements that you just take. So Jay, what can you tell us about the actions that the Lake Cane Restoration Society is doing for restoring the health of the lake? I think Jay is still muted. Yeah, Jay Jay is still muted. Sorry about that. Jay, can you hear us?
I can share with you. This is part of the fun of having 310 swimmers is making sure their time is correct. Because part of what we're doing is getting people into an event where there's competition. And so what we have to do is get our data right with the competition. That's part of why they come out to the lake.
That's right. So what we're talking about with Stephen is that what measurements have you taken? I remember you telling me about. Yeah, but I remember about you telling me about the fish, the kind of fish that they were there, the algae that just grew up a lot, and what have you done with that? And with those measurements that CCI have taken, you say, okay, there's something that we can take care of right now. So what are the actions that you have taken to restore Lake Cane's health?
Okay, so this is a fascinating story in that during the 1970s, people who had aquariums in their homes started putting Hydrilla, this very kind of fast-growing plant in their aquariums, and they dumped their aquarium water either outside or in the drain, and that hydrilla seedlings started going into lakes in Florida, in other places too. But once hydrilla got into the lakes in Florida, it started taking over. It was an invasive species that took over lakes, and it took over this lake. In fact, at some points, this lake is 27 feet deep, sometimes 30. We've, thanks to CCI engineering, we've had many lake depths. So explored hydrilla would grow to the surface of the lake, even from the deep part of the lake. So imagine the forest of hydrilla that was there. There's very much trouble managing hydrilla. The best possible natural way, not using any chemicals, is to introduce triploid carp. These are carp that do not reproduce, but they are great eaters. And we introduce 5-pound triploid carp, about 200, 300 of them, and they have mowed this lake bottom to sandy bottom. We've got sandy lake bottom all the way around the lake thanks to the carp and their destruction of the hydrilla. So that's the example, and it's a way of nature doing the job herself.
With the help of human caring about nature, right?
True. We just got out of the way. You know, we got the carp on the hydrilla, and I'll tell you, there's no better way to do it. Others have tried chemicals and still would, and you don't have to. You can find a way to do it naturally, and we did.
Well, that's great to know. So, Joyce, do you want to add something up before we wrap up this transmission? So also Dr. Lucky can be rested, because these people here around to this event has been around like from 4 a.m., waking up from 4 a.m. in the morning.
Yes,
So
I'll find Lucky. I see him now.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Joyce, do you want to add something before Jay goes to Lucky?
Tell me a question that you might have for Lucky.
Maybe Joyce can help us with that.
Well, that's tough. Does he remember the?
Do you want an interview?
Lucky remember the first time he was on the lake?
I gotta pay somebody really
You're
quick.
out there with all the swimmers. Does Lucky
Oh, we
remember
didn't
the
hear you
first time he
well,
swam the
Joyce.
lake?
Can you repeat that? I think Jay just got stuck, and yeah.
Well,
Okay,
there's
I
still a lot
think
going
I'm
on
back.
here.
So we got, so this is Lucky's office. He's going to join us here. And behind us is the world's largest yo-yo collection. Lucky's in the Guinness Book of World Records a couple times, but one of them includes for the world's largest yo-yo collection. You can kind of see it up there. Hey, here's Lucky himself. Lucky, this is Juan Carlos, whom you know.
Hey!
Johnson from CCI Engineering, and you're on their telecast.
Well, first of all, we are very thankful that you let us be here with you in this great event. It has been awesome, a great experience, and we just have Joyce here who would like to ask you how you will respond with that. Jay, I think we have a little video stuck there. I think Dr. Lucky is freezed.
So, Lucky, when was the first time you swam the lake? Is he? Are we having more technical difficulties with the live?
Yeah, we have Lucky here.
There he
Okay,
is.
hey,
There
here's
he
Dr.
is.
Lucky.
You moved.
Good morning.
When was the first time you swam this lake?
It was 33 years ago. 33
Wow.
years ago. It is.
That's older than me.
It's changed a little bit since then, but still, the essence of it is the same.
You have a beautiful place here, and so many people want to come and make a difference. The swim is just part of it. The swim and a
Well,
yo-yo doesn't get better.
I'm
It
sorry,
doesn't
what
get
was that?
better than that.
No, it doesn't get better than that. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I think the swimming, the great thing about the swimming is if you want to do something for the environment, I tell people you got to go out in the environment because people care about what they do. Nobody will care about the lakes as much as people that actually use the lakes and enjoy the lakes. And what we've done is we've got a lot of, we like to call them citizen scientists, actually swimmer scientists, that are now really looking at how we can keep lake quality good so we can continue to enjoy swims for the next generations too. And we know if we don't do things now, the lakes aren't going to be there because I can't tell you the number of lakes where you say their name here in Central Florida, say, oh, I've never seen that lake. It's too polluted or it's too this or too that. So we're working really hard on Lake Kane to try to find ways to preserve our lakes, but in private lakes on that are, it's not where you're always coming to the government and saying, hey, we need your money, we need your help. Private citizens need to be able to figure out how to preserve our lakes and improve them. And so we've got all kinds of different studies going on, working to keep these lakes swimmable and usable by everybody, whether it be getting in and swimming or fishing or boating. We all have to have clean lakes for those activities to happen.
And you are leading by example. That is the best way. And people come out here and look at what you've done, and they want to do the same thing. I know there's a few other lakes we're already working on, and we can see a difference. And it's a difference in, I think it's a paradigm shift for everyone to understand that, okay, we need this. We can't live without this. Oh, who else joined us? Oh, who do we have?
Well, I think part of what we're trying to do is create something that Jay Madigan has named a lake in a box. We want to work on Lake Kane, which is where we host Lucky's Lake Swim at, and we want to create the systems and put them in place to be able to preserve the lake and then be able to take that process and move it from lake to lake to lake so you're not reinventing the wheel each time. And it's tough because we're doing stuff that's never been done before. And some of it's not going to work, but some of it will.
And it's exciting because now especially with Lake Kane, we have a baseline. We have something to measure from. And now we know, I'm excited to see the next report. If Stephen's going to run the lake again, and I'm excited to see where the Nano Bubbles were. Can you talk to that?
Nano Bubbles are a great example of cutting edge technology. And the great thing is with bathymetric studies, you can actually get data to measure the improvement. It's not like, well, we think they work. The water looks a little cleaner. We can actually show data that shows it is working. And that is so important to get, other volunteers involved, donors involved, and sometimes even the government involved, because let's face it, the biggest polluter in our country is the U.S. government with the road runoff and the way they do water management. So we have to prove to them there is a better way. There is a way to preserve our lakes, and it doesn't have to be too painful. But somebody's got to do the work, and we're doing it here.
I agree. With the technology changing so quickly, the disciplines and the industries are coming together. So that means that, with the road runoff, you're looking at transportation, roadway, tunnel, bridge. That's something that they look at differently as a civil engineer. They're not concerned about the water. The environmental people are, and for the design, but when it's all said and done, you don't know until it rains.
Well, the great thing about lake swim and having people in the water is that you've got such a diverse group of people. You've got people that are senior people over at, say, Universal Studios swimming. You've got doctors swimming. You've got environmentalists swimming. And they can all come together and say, yeah, I have something to contribute. Let's look at it in a different fashion. And somebody goes, oh, my God, why haven't we thought of that before? And it's all about that merging of minds. So it's the lake swim is a merging of minds, if you will, for the environment.
Oh, absolutely. I think Jay had something to say, but he's thinking about it.
No,
We're
I
Jay's
wanted
friends.
to introduce Tom Welsh because part of the formula for this phenomenon is poetry, and Tom is our poet laureate. You know, we have a poetry contest every board meeting, and you can win $50 at every board meeting if you submit a winning poetry. He's the judge, and do you accept bribes?
Oh, yes. If you
He
write your
says
poem
yes.
on the back of a $50 bill and send it to me, we can talk.
Okay, so there
Money
you
gets
go.
you nothing.
Actually, I'll
I've
take a
tried
$20
many
bill for
times.
that
Money
matter,
gets
so.
you nothing.
Okay.
Not proud.
Can I,
And I'm not proud of
can I
that.
submit?
But that is what it
I
is.
want to submit a country western.
And you're starving
song.
artists. So it's been a pleasure. Bye.
Do country western songs count as poetry? That's the question.
That's the only ones that count as poetry. And don't be rolling in with your free verse, AI generated poems. All right? Ain't going to happen.
No, yeah. If it's woke, it's broke. All right, there we are. All right, there we go. Poetry Central here.
I like it. I like it. Who else do we have on? Doc Lucky,
Oh.
you are amazing.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on your little cast here. I appreciate you letting me talk about the lake and the swim and all that.
Stephen Curlis is the one that did the real work. He's been out there. Yeah, he's the data collector.
Oh man, he's been out here. It seems like he's out here at 3 a.m. sometimes, pounding away. He's a workaholic, and he loves data. You gotta love data to do what he does.
He is data.
We say we're swimmer scientists, and Steven's a scientist.
Well, thanks for having me on your podcast. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Lucky.
Take care.
Yes.
Thanks for all you do, Lucky.
Well, thank you very much, Lucky. Thank you for having us on the property. I think we can wrap up the transmission. We were going just to tell all people that we are going to have this podcast episode 2 in Spotify. So we're going to download the audio too. And we will have that soon, probably on the next couple of days. And we will have also that podcast. You can join Lake Restoration Society via volunteer. You can see what CCI Engineering does at ccitrust.com under social media. And Joyce is very active also in social media, so especially in LinkedIn, where we work together with all kinds of stuff. And actually, we have Jay a lot around because it's inspiring all that he has organized, the relationship that they have with Dr. Lucky. So, well, just need you guys to give a final wrap-up message. Let's start with Jay and let's finish with Joyce.
Yeah, we really appreciate technical assistance in keeping what we love clean and ready to swim for everybody. So thank you, CCI, for all your technical assistance while we manage this really wonderful place.
Thank you, Jay Madigan. You're the best. You are the best. And yes, I'm waiting for my restaurant recommendation from Marta, too. You know, Edible Orlando.
There you go.
Yeah. So, Juan Carlos, thank you for setting this up and for coming to Orlando to film all of this. And I'm sure that we're going to have some great memories and some video to share after this webinar. And I don't know, did we get anyone else on that had a question?
No, we don't have actually. We don't have a question right now, but we will sure get them when they just see the transmission again in the replays or in the podcast. And I'm sure we will have some interaction also in our social media when we post this as a recording. So don't worry about it. People got interested, and I see a lot of comments in my own private chats and you too, I think. So just we have to keep going. We have to be consistent. We have to keep spreading the word and showing what we do, and we will have, I'm sure, something else out there coming soon.
Well, I appreciate it, Juan Carlos, and I'm going to look forward to the next video chat. It's exciting.
Okay. Yeah, great. So you're going to get some final message for us, Joyce?
Parting words. Well, I am in Florida. but it is not snowing in Ohio, so it's probably raining. And we're not up on the lake. You know, Jay, the lake is what's happening right now. There's so much going on in Cleveland, which is where we connected. So no, I mean, everyone out here is thinking about the environment and thinking about what they can do to make a difference. And when you get those groups of people together, you know, we work together better. And Shannon is a good example of that. She's the next generation that's coming up. She's a public servant. And when you think about the public and the private industry working together, it's about being good stewards of public money so that we do get good results from the things that we do get money to work on.
Absolutely.
And I see, yeah. It's
Okay.
say that again, Shannon.
Okay.
Oh, I
Absolutely.
said absolutely. I was in full agreement with you.
Yeah, that's right. So, well, we thank you all for being with us here, and also just inviting you to follow CCI in social media, Lake King Restoration Society too, and just be there, distribute, promote what we are doing here, and we'll be very thankful. So, thank you all, and see you next time. Right? Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Juan Carlos. Thank you, everybody.